Zayed grabbed me by my arms and dragged me into the bathroom. I screamed. He put his hand over my mouth and started to undo his pants. Knowing what was about to happen, I froze. My whole body went numb. I couldn't move. When he was done, he got dressed and walked out like nothing happened. He left me there with my tears. When he walked out the door, he took with him my pride, my security, and my virginity. This story told by a woman named Lindsay on November 17, 2008. It is said that 1 in 5 women will experience rape or sexual assault at one point or another in their lifetime. Women aged 18 to 24 who are enrolled in college are 3 times more likely to experience rape or sexual assault. Women of the same age range who are also enrolled in college are 5 times more likely. These statistics were published on RAINN.org on a Victims of Sexual Violence Statistics story in 2019. According to the Montana Legislative Service, as of 2015, for a first-time conviction of a sexual assault crime, you will be charged with a fine of no more than $500 and serve a time of no more than 6 months. Men, women, and or children are raped every 92 seconds, and with crime punishments that lack in severity, it will continue to happen. First, I would like to talk about the statistics of rape and sexual assault and the damage it can have on its victims. A press release in Washington on December 11, 2014 stated that a total of 97,000 women were between 1995 and 2013 were raped on campuses all across the United States. This number is only including the reported cases. Over 80% of rape and sexual assault cases go unreported. These statistics were reported to the Justice Department Analysis of Violent Crimes in 2016. Rape is not just something that happens to any one sort of person. Many celebrities have even reported rape crimes. If you've ever seen the movies Signs, Zombieland, or My Sister's Keeper, then you've seen the actress Abigail Breslin. In April of 2017, during Sexual Assault Awareness Month, the actress posted on her Instagram about a rape from a former boyfriend. She explains that she did not report the case for many reasons, one of which being that she was afraid that she was not going to be believed. 8 out of every 10 cases of rape, the victim reported knowing the person who raped them. That's 60% of the reported cases. 91% of rape and sexual assault victims are female, and 9% of them are male. 81% of women and 35% of men reported post-traumatic stress disorder after being raped or sexually assaulted. Post-traumatic stress disorder is categorized as a mental health problem that arises after a victim experiences a trauma that caused or threatened harm. It is estimated that 325,000 children are at risk of being a victim of rape or sexual assault every year. These statistics were provided by the National Sexual Violence Center. Many have heard of Brock Turner, the Stanford University swimmer who was convicted of sexual assault in 2015. His assault victim shared a testimony during the trial that reads, "After a few hours of this, they let me shower. I stood there examining my body beneath the stream of water and decided I don't want my body anymore. I was terrified of it. I didn't know what had been in it, if it had been contaminated, or who had touched it. I wanted to take my body off like a jacket and leave it at the hospital with everything else." She then added further into her story, and then at the bottom of the article, after I learned about the graphic details of my own sexual assault, the article listed his swimming times. Brock Turner was only sentenced to 6 months in jail after being convicted of 3 counts of felony assault. He was released after 3 months for good behavior. Low reporting for sexual assault and rape, I believe, has a lot to do with the lack of severity of the punishment for such crimes. According to the National Crime Victimization Survey between 2010 and 2014, only 6 out of every 1,000 convicted sexual assault perpetrators will be incarcerated. That is only 20% of the people convicted. Findings made by the United States Sentencing Commission published in January of 2019 found that the mandatory minimum penalty for sex offenders was applied at a far fewer rate than that of any other mandatory minimum penalty. One of the biggest reasons rape and sexual cases go unreported is because they believe the perpetrator will not have a severe enough punishment. In 2016, a man by the name of Jacob Walter Anderson was charged with unlawful restraint after gagging and raping his victim at a frat party. He was sentenced to pay a fine of $400 and to go to counseling. He did not have to serve any time or register as a sex offender. Not only are sex offenders getting off with almost no time or no punishment, victims often see no reason to come forward because they see no justice served. This has a lot to do with lack of evidence, one person's word against another, or how much privilege a perpetrator has. White privileged males are convicted far less than any other offender. A Caucasian man in Tennessee had a sentence cut down by 3/4 because the judge said he was impressed by his work as a pastor. David Richards was charged with raping his adopted daughter Amber. During her court date, she quoted, "I wanted to throw my body away. Not a day goes by that I don't in some way think of what he did to me." This was reported by Knox News, May 9, 2019. CNN reports, without eyewitnesses or documentary evidence such as videos or photos, prosecutors may be reluctant to try a case. It is these things that let people know that even if tried for a rape or sexual assault charge, they may not even pay much of a price. It keeps the number of rapes and sexual assaults climbing. The number of rapes and sexual assaults continues to increase, and without proper investigations done to ensure perpetrators get the full sentence, they will not slow down. Evidence such as rape kits, questioning of the victim and suspected perpetrator, and possible witnesses can be used when trying someone for rape and sexual assault crimes. Rape kits have been around since the late 1970s, originally called the Vitullo Evidence Collection Kit. They are used to document and collect evidence of injury due to forced sex. However, injuries don't always distinguish between forced sex and rough consensual sex. This poses an issue of disputing whether the sex was forced or consensual in court. The rape kit can only determine if the sex took place. However, having to go through the procedure of a rape kit, it can be just as traumatic for the victims, which is why a lot of people choose not to do them. Some also want to forgive them because they want to feel like they are starting to regain some control over their own bodies. They often must travel for hours just to get to a hospital that has a rape kit available to them. These rape kits can often take 4 to 6 hours to complete. Victims are expected to do this in the midst of their most vulnerable moments, quoted on splinternews.com. In many police departments, they have a backlog of rape kits. These are untested rape kits that sit on shelves for an indefinite amount of time. This happens when a prosecutor or investigator do not test DNA. They do not request DNA to be tested. Rape kits do not have a tracking or counting on them, so we cannot even be sure the total number of untested rape kits across the United States. Rape kits may not always be a save-all for sexual assault survivors, but it can be a useful tool in helping many cases. In 2017, it was found that the number of unreported rape cases had increased by almost 20% since 2013. There was a total of 135,800 of reported cases that year, and that does not even include the 80% of unreported. We need to educate more facilities, such as hospitals, police stations, and fire departments, on how to treat these situations. They should be provided with rape kits and be able to perform them appropriately. Thorough investigations should be done in a timely manner and make the victims feel as if their traumatic events are not less than important. Perpetrators should not walk free and without consequence.